and gentlemen, welcome back to Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean, and this is Work It Like a Job. Joining me today, Mr. Big Sexy in Sax. Sir, how are you?
You know, productive week. That's all we can ask for. Keep moving, keep getting better, keep pushing, keep going to the next level.
All right. Also joining us, Mr. Ant Pooh. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had a couple of nigga wake up calls professionally and personally, but you know,
wow.
I'm all good. Yep.
Professionally, huh?
Yep. We'll talk about that after the show.
Wow. Okay. That would be an episode, but I'm gonna put your business out there. And we still got to eat. We got to go back next week. You know? I heard you on that show talking about, is that how you're really feeling?
they ain't gonna never know.
Hey, you know, these are the receipt days. You never know, boy. They might be stockpiling stuff just in case you get to talking crazy one day. Well, he was documenting proof he was on this Black Radical podcast.
I can see it
talking about like, damn, y'all was actually recording. I'm saving my shit.
Yeah, I had to check myself. I was in a clubhouse and a dude asked me, he's like, "Hey, what's up with Madden? When y'all gonna fix that?" I was like, let me shut the fuck up, because I don't know y'all Negroes. Y'all could be recording, and I ain't getting called into HR.
See, that's why I'm cool. I can't control where, you know, I wouldn't say nothing. But anyway, that's another story. All right, man, we got a lot of stuff to get into. First thing we're going to talk about today is some Prince. Man, just can I say, like, I listen to Prince a lot, but not as much as I used to. Not because I don't like the music anymore. It's just, you know, you're doing stuff in your life and working and kids and whatever. So, like, my just straight music time isn't what I would want it to be. I could just sit there all day or something. But I was just driving. I had the it's one greatest hits Prince package. What was that? It was the second one that came out. I should know this off the top of my head. It had the 12 inches on it.
The best of Prince. The very best of Prince.
No, not that one. It was a 2-disc set. I don't. Maybe it wasn't the second one. The Prince.
Isn't it Forever?
He was a dark cover, almost like the Batman.
Wasn't it Forever or something like that?
Was that it?
It wasn't Forever. Now I have to look it up. This is a damn shame. Maybe I will edit this, but the thing is,
it was Forever. Prince Greatest Hits full album.
It was a 2 CD set.
Yeah.
That's the one released in 2017, I think it was.
No. It was just before that.
It was, gosh.
So the second disc was all 12 inches. Yeah.
Yeah. And it had, at the time, it had Thieves in the Temple at the end of it, I think, or on there, 12 inch. And that's like, it's on the tip of my tongue, like Prince Unlocked or Prince Under. It was some kind of funny thing like that. Anyway.
Great radio.
I know, right? And actually, I'm looking at the cover right here. The cover of it is on the very breast of Prince cover, because it's that picture at the bottom. It's from the Batman era, but whatever that album was, I had that in my car. Is what I'm trying to say. And I was just listening to the stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. Certain times I can hear his music, and it just kind of hit me different, where I almost like disassociate all my years of listening to it, and I hear it almost like for the first time in a weird way. I was listening to Raspberry Beret. Of all these songs I've heard, know it back and forth. I'm listening to the 12-inch version. I was like, this was a funky motherfucker. Like, this is such a funny song to me. I was listening to these on his like storytelling, and he's so accomplished at this time, but he's at his height as well. And I was just like, he was just like throwing out these funny type of story things, and it was like he wasn't even trying. I don't know, for some reason I was listening to it, I was just like, damn, he was really a clever motherfucker. Like
Prince Ultimate.
Yes, that's it. Or Ultimate Prince, is that what it's called? Yeah, that's a good collection actually, because it gives you one disc of all the little hits and stuff, and then the second disc is the 12-inch extended versions. And it's not, I don't think it's overpowering. It's not that much music, because it could be crazy. But yeah, I was just like, Prince is a cold motherfucker. So anyway, I saw that to say, we heard the story that came out a couple weeks ago about the estate and the IRS, and the IRS is saying the estate is undervaluing itself, and I believe the estate sued the IRS, which is an interesting move. I don't know the percentage of this. I'm curious how many people win against the IRS. I'm an outsider in that world. I'd be so scared of them, I wouldn't do it. But it's an ongoing thing. Hopefully at some point they will get that all worked out. I almost wonder if we'll see the story one day of the Prince estate sells his catalog. Like, they get some crazy dollar amount and that's how they get out of that situation. And but I'm just throwing this out there because we see a lot of people selling their stuff these days.
This is where I want, the Spike Lees, the Jay-Z's, the people that really, that got power and money, some power and influence that rocked with Prince heavy to come in and, help or lead them down the path to solvency so that they're not going to be in that position where they have to sell the catalog. Because especially with a Spike Lee, I can't think of any other famous person that rocked with him that heavy. Well, maybe Janelle Monáe as well. I know they know how much that catalog meant to Prince and how much it would, be like an insult to his legacy that it's with a record label.
Yeah, I mean, we have no idea who, we know who controls the estate. Maybe they don't want anybody to help them, or maybe they want to keep it. Like, obviously it seems like, the bank is in control and obviously it's all about the finances and people's getting paid. Some people's not getting paid and they want to make sure they make the most money they can with their asset of their Prince estate. So who knows if they would even be receptive to these people you mentioned. They might be like, nah, we gotta keep it all for it. Which is it's a business at this point. No.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean like they give them a piece of the catalog, but I'm just saying, like, go over there like, yo, here's some game for y'all. This is who you need to talk to. This is how you need to get down. I'm not trying to.
I feel you. I'm just saying, I would imagine they probably don't. How they see. I hate that we're going into racial and all this already, but just look at how business is done on that level. There's very little people. I'll even grant y'all this. There's very little people of color on the seat at the table generally. So in a situation like this, they probably already have their hand-picked black person that they, conserve or conversate with, and everybody else, you don't get to contribute to the power base here. That's, to me, that was all about Prince was always fighting for anyway. So the fact that would even, I guess what I'm saying, the fact that the state even has it set up like that is probably way against what Prince was about anyway, on the most basic level of representation. So so them having outside people who we would assume are respected and love Prince, yeah, they're probably on the outside, like, and don't even let those people in. And you kind of, sometimes I hear that from Prince associates, right, that got the game and would be like, yeah, well, they're not receptive to what we're trying to say, or it's on some funny stuff. So who knows? But what we were going to talk about, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, and I'm sure there's comments on here. I want to talk about what products could the estate put out there that may help them make some more money so that they could pay their little debt or whatever. But I just wanted to keep it fun and almost got to get in heavy conversation. But I want to throw out there with some ideas of things that they could do that would be no-brainers, like, and even things that they're not thinking, like, maybe this is something you can do, because we've been doing release the box sets and continue to do that. But they must have other things. And I also spawned this too, because I saw last week that the Prince estate have a Prince robe for sale. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, and that thing looks pretty chintzy too.
I was like, was Prince, would he be rocking something? Like, who is this for? Who thought of this? Who co-signed the robe? But I was like, okay, they trying to do whatever they can to get some money. I dig it. So
I got a wild idea.
Go ahead.
I got a wild idea. It's gonna go out there. But I think the ladies, y'all definitely gonna feel this.
Mm-mm.
I want Rihanna to come to the Princess Day and say, "This is a bag. We're gonna do the Prince makeup collection with Fenty."
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
Can you imagine?
I can see
And
that.
hopefully they get some of the. I don't know if Prince did his makeup throughout the years. I'm sure he had to have had some makeup artists get them involved to, this is what he used. This is the tone, the shade, the eyeliner, whatever. I think that's a bag right there. And of course, I want Rihanna in there. That's a sister, a Caribbean sister. Help make that bag even further.
Now,
Before you go to
let me
Cody, Elf, and the others.
let me ask you this, because Prince was a man and he wore makeup. I think you're saying it'd be makeup for women. How would you feel if they were like, let's do this, but we're gonna bring in, what's that one brother? He be at all the little award shows.
Talking about Billy Porter. Hey, at the end of the day, it's about the bag.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the Prince, Rihanna, Fenty product. Actually, that would be. I mean, it'd be a moneymaker. It'd be controversial, I think, for some people, but they need it, right? They can do a robe. They can do a Fenty makeup.
Absolutely, yeah. And then this is because you mentioned Fenty, because I remember the lingerie line. What if they had the Apollonia 6 Vanity 6 lingerie line?
Interesting.
Now that could work.
Now you're talking.
What do you mean that could work?
A line of lingerie? That could definitely work.
I'm just saying you got a little too excited about that.
Why? Because they could really put a dent in the Victoria's Secret marketplace. If they could get a piece of that market share, being that having that type of vanity label on it, shit, they could do some damage.
Okay. So Prince inspired lingerie, not too far off from the robe again.
That robe was bullshit.
They had remember they had that 1999 jackets or something was like $2,000 or $3,000. I don't know. I never saw anybody who bought that.
That for $3,000.
Yeah, I mean they had some wild. It was some like high end type, supposedly high end.
How much were those white snow jackets?
Oh, I don't remember.
Remember the Bet You By Golly Wow days?
Yeah.
Those were for sale.
That was fly. That did look fly. No lie.
I wonder if, and I'm sure maybe they did. I don't know if they had put those out again or not. But that would be kind of dope.
If it's under 200, I might have to cop one.
Oh, it was not under 200. That thing was a little pricey.
One idea that I had was, so they've had the Prince, they're sitting in front of me, Funko dolls. They've had the Prince Funko. I think there's like 3 different variations. We've already done that. So I'm like, if they can do that, it would be ill, and particularly in the action sort of figure collector's market high end, is if they had a Prince Hot Toys. And if you don't know what Hot Toys, just look up Hot Toys, type it in your thing, do your Googles, and you'll see that these are super detailed, high end. I think they're 12-inch tall, sort of action
be like
type figures. There's
these do look good.
Yeah, they're like, they have all of the Star Wars, Marvel movies, all pop culture. There's look up Michael Jackson's Hot Toy. I think he has a couple, but the Michael Jackson Hot Toy from the Bad video is tight as fuck. Like, look at the details in that. Imagine if they had a Prince one. And the thing is, obviously, they probably go first with the iconic, Purple Rain 1999 type Prince. But imagine if they had Christopher Tracy, and you had the
controversy,
you had that tight, clean white trench coat he had on under Cherry Moon, or any of his looks would be ridiculously tight in a Hot Toys, and those things are not cheap. Say it again.
That's a musicology look.
Yeah. So there could be so many different ones. And if you look at the price, they ain't cheap. Like they start around $300-$400, and they usually they're collectors, so they only make so many because obviously look at them, they're super high detail. So when you go on eBay and something, you see the collector's market for these things are ridiculous. They got a Blade one that they did, ill as hell, but and I look at some of the Batman ones, I'm like, God damn. But go ahead.
I can see the ladies buying up the Gangsta Glam one.
Hilarious. They have the Get Off MTV Awards butt out version. But that would, those would sell. Like, who's not gonna, how Prince, there's a lot of Prince fans who, it don't matter if it just had Prince, they get an email from the estate and it's Prince soap for sale, they're buying it up. So they would buy this.
Wow, that's a market right there, Mike. Look at you.
Oh, hey, we're trying to give them some ideas. But yeah, Hot Toys Prince would be cool, man.
I'm looking at the Star Wars Moff Gideon one. Wow, it looks just like him.
Yes. Yeah, man. They got some, most of them all are pretty lifelike, and they got different faces so you can pull off the heads, put different ones, change the hands, all kind of stuff. So anyway, that would be one that I would say I would buy that, even though I know it'd be like 3 or 4. I'm like, yeah. A little Prince on your desk, on your mantle. Yeah, gotta get it. So yeah, Hot Toys. You got another one, anybody?
Yeah, I was thinking Prince theme instruments. Of course, everybody's looking at the guitars, mass producing those. But how about a drum set? How about a keyboard? And those items.
A guitar. Right?
Yeah.
The problem with the drum set is there really isn't a particular make of set that is really identifiable to him. With guitars, yeah, you see the Telecaster, you see the cymbal guitar, you see the cloud guitar. But with drums, I don't know. And keyboards, I don't know. I don't know what he played keyboard-wise.
Well, with the drum, it'd have to be the one that looked like the one from Sign of the Times that Sheila was on. You could do that one. I'd be interested in that. And another thing.
Just to add on to that, I think that's a brilliant idea. And again, they could charge whatever they want. We're talking about stuff for collectors. If they sold a special edition Prince Lindrum, oh man, the musician cats just snapped. Collectors would just snap that up. Even just sat it on your mantle. Like, yeah, it's $2,000, but it's the replica and it works. Shit.
And they pre-program most of it.
You say pre-program with the beats? Oh,
right. Yep.
7779311 would be the first one. That would be tight.
Another thing I was thinking of is what they call a music book, where they show you how to play the different the different instruments on his songs, and they can do it album by album, having Controversy, having Purple Rain, and they show you
that's been done.
They have those. Okay. I know they had like the piano books or something, didn't they? Yeah, for a lot of albums back in the day.
They have to be reshoot on that or reclaim that license, but yeah, that's been done.
Okay. Yeah, they should do that again. Like again, be something you could buy off of the website. People, buy that up. That's a great one. The instruments, that would be tight. Yeah, that Lindrum. Oh man, All right. Next one I had up here, and I put this picture online last week, but I buy it in a minute. So they do all these 4K release of movies now. I'm like all into this. For some movies, I think it's brilliant. Case in point, I just got the Akira 4K disc last week. Oh, just gorgeous. And I've seen Purple Rain on a 4K TV on a really nice, sort of a high end mid-level TV, and it looked like, I was like, God, he looks so freaking real. Never seen a movie look like this. And I just thought there needs to be a 4K release of Purple Rain for multiple reasons. One, of course, is Purple Rain. Two, Purple Rain is a hallmark, landmark film, particularly a music film. It was a super box office hit. It was a Warner Brothers movie. Warner Brothers is one of the better studios when it comes to releasing 4K, what they call legacy titles of movies. And this one, to me, I hope that they have this on the plans for this year or something, because to me it's a no-brainer. But I just think that movie would look fascinating, and it deserves that treatment of 4K. Whether or not, they put a whole bunch of extras on it, and that's necessary, I don't care. But just putting the movie out on the highest quality level possible in a movie like that, I think that should be done. The other one would be Under the Cherry Moon. Both of these movies are on Blu-ray, so in a sense they're 1080p. But to see both of them,
Under the Cherry Moon's on Blu-ray?
It is. Yeah, remember they came out with a box set and it had all Prince's movies on it in Blu-ray.
Oh.
Incidentally, it only used to cost I swear $20-something, but in the last 2 weeks it has jumped to the $100 range, which I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But Under the Cherry Moon, 4K, and then had the option, I'm on my Snyder Cut, to have it in color.
There you
go. They could charge a nice little, $40 on day one. That would be ridiculous. But they should, even if they don't do the color, they need to put that out on 4K as well. It would just look brilliant, man, to me. But a color version, if we could push, and I think we could actually make it happen. I mean, if the DC fans could make, or at least push Warner Brothers to release, a Justice League and have them throw $70 million and blah, blah, blah. And we should be able to say, hey, Warner Brothers, one of your big movies, Purple Rain, we need that 4K. And instantly, can you release the color version of Cherry Moon? We want to give you money. Take our money. That would be one for me. I'd be all over that.
Well, to follow up on that, and I agree strongly with that, I look at it, if you're going to do video, that means you have to go to the concert vault and get a lot of this stuff out on Blu-ray if you can. The obvious choices are, Sign of the Times, the Carrier Dome show from Syracuse. But what about the First Avenue warm-up show? What about the Sign of the Times warm-up show? Because apparently he recorded everything. What about the birthday show from DC or from Detroit? All these different tours that are out there, in full-length video, clean that up, because the work they did on the New Year's Eve show from '88, it's amazing. You put in that same type of work, boom, that will sell.
Yeah, definitely. So over the holidays, my older children were visiting, and I put on the Sign of the Times New Year's Eve show from the box set. And my kids know I'm a super Prince fan, but I don't normally subject them to watching it on, sitting down and geeking out. But I put it on, just kind of wanted to see, and it's interesting to see their reactions to it. And I think we started at Housequake, and my son is funny because he is I think he really can appreciate, in his mind, older music. He is, I asked him what his favorite song was when they were just here, and he said, "Baby Be Mine," Michael Jackson. That's what he's listening to. He's into that, right? So he was looking at Housequake, and I could see he was smiling, he was like, "This is funny," because this guy, and I could see him looking at the screen God, this guy is all over the place, jumping and dancing and stuff. And what he's saying, it's a kind of a funny type of song. And I could see that he thought it was funny. And it was and he looked at his sister "You see this? What is this?" And then, and I was like, okay. And I think I fast forwarded toward the Miles Davis part. And I was just telling him, I said, "You guys know who that is? You probably don't know who that is." I was kind of giving him a little, this guy is one of the greatest, musicians. And they were this was such a head buster for him to come on the stage for a guy like Prince at this time. Prince was not a legend at this time. He was he was a super pop star, but he wasn't regarded as what you know him to be. So it wasn't, it was an honor for this guy of that magnitude to come on the stage with them this time. I was trying to get them to understand what they were looking at. And I could see they were just like, okay. And it's hard for them to understand, the significance of it without the history, right? So they were just kind of watching for what it was. And then, Prince starts going into his bag and he's just like, he's just going on and on. And I was like, I could see they were kind of like, okay. Their attention is diverted. And I was like, you know what? For me, this is the shit. But I could see how for kids, super long, they see Prince almost as like, this is like overly long. Like, why is this is going on and on and on. And I wonder sometimes, would they be able to appreciate these concert videos the way that we do?
Young people? No.
I wonder if it's almost, they're not used to seeing performances, so, song after song type of thing.
Well, this goes back to things we've talked about before, culturally. Right now in our current music environment, among all the popular artists, who's actually playing an instrument? Exactly. So kids aren't seeing that anymore.
Right.
That sucks.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's the thing too. Even if it's like a Michael Jackson, which doesn't play an instrument, but I don't know if they would be able to sit there and watch a concert by Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is so used to just seeing you do a one song or something and it'd be over. And I wonder if, and again, I'm speaking just from my limited understanding. Not to say young people were not going to concerts before COVID. Of course they were. They're the lifeblood of that. But I just thought it was cute. I was just like, there's really no comparison in today's world for these concerts, of this magnitude. Most of the shows now, I think, are jam-packed with so many different people on the bill. You just kind of do your one song or a couple songs and you're out of there. Or what they see on these award shows. But anyway, So you said concerts they could resell. Most definitely, I would be on that in a minute. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking is that HBO Max, that's under the Warner Media, which is, I believe, Warner Music is connected still with AT&T and that whole empire. My thing is that there's a possibility. I feel like they absolutely could bring Prince concerts to HBO Max. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And that could be, a good way to get subscriptions for them. Hopefully a bag to the estate, and everybody gets a win-win-win.
I agree with that, because back in the early or mid 70s, when HBO was first coming out and really establishing, they would do concerts. And you're going to laugh at this. They would show the monthly WWF show on HBO back then too.
The MG show?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wow. Well, yeah, I think it started in New York. HBO started this. So.
You know what? So HBO Max could, on that tier or on their programming tier, put in a music / like audio AV section, like a music performance section, because they used to do a lot of stand-up comedies too stand-up comics back in the day as well. So they could definitely expand that, and show, classic concerts. And again, it would get people out there looking at actual and listening to music again, and not crap like, American Idol.
Does that still come on? I have no idea.
It's on ABC now, but yeah, it's still on.
There's so many other shows like that now, right? Now, don't they have shows where they do it where they have costumes on or something?
That's
the Singer, but that's not what I'm thinking. It's not like a competition to get a music contract, and then you have The Voice, of course.
Gotcha.
And they have the secret dancer or some shit like that.
Yeah, America's Got Talent. I've never watched the show to see what the big grand prize is.
It's so funny. Those shows will always be on TV.
Suck.
Like those, yeah. But I mean, that's a part of, I think, just the culture is to have the talent show contest. And no matter how you dress it up, that's exactly what these shows are. That's why they'll never die, in my opinion. Like there's just something about that. I think we love to see people do their talent.
But the Masked Singer and the Masked Dancer aren't talent shows. Those are like established people under a mask, and you have this, quote, celebrity panel trying to figure it out. And any panel of celebrities, I use the word loosely, that has Ken Jeong on it, I can't deal with.
Who's
I can't
Ken
stand
Jeong?
that guy. The little Asian cat from Hangover.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Hey, I didn't even think he'd be doing something. He get in the bag in today's world. Go, hey, salute. judging established singers. That's a wild premise, but I guess it works, obviously. What? Oh, okay. So here's the other thing. I'm gonna go to music for a second. Two box sets that they could do. One, I would say the Time box set. Again, this doesn't have to be some big, gigantic Sign of the Times, but they could just literally take all of the Time albums, package those together. You could do like a little booklet or something and really talk about, Prince, Morris, and putting that band together, recording that. I am sure there are a multitude of outtakes that they could probably include within that. To me, that would just be for Prince fans and people that really love that Minneapolis type music, collectors. To me, I think that would be an easy buy. Like all the time, of course. Yeah,
Provided two things happen.
Go ahead.
One, you let Jimmy and Terry come back in and remix, and then once that's done, you slide that over to Bernie Grundman and let him do his thing on the mastering. Yeah, I would be all over that.
Okay. I wouldn't mind them on the book. I don't know if the records need a remix, but yeah, I mean, that would be dope. I would say you have to have Morris be a part of that for sure.
And they should do, like you said, a book and maybe a DVD like they did with the original 7.
Yeah, I would take that too. I'm just saying, even if it was just the records and some outtakes, I mean, it would just be like, and just packed all together. And this is the time, Prince, the Time. You got to give it up. So some sort of Time box set, I just think would be essential. And the other one I think they should do is a Paisley Park Records box set. And that would just encompass all of the Madhouse records, Jill Jones, the Sheila E. Paisley stuff, all the other groups, Taja Seville, Good Question, Tony, all of them, all in one box. That way, now, trying to do individual releases of those records, no. You might do like little reissues of them, but if they can just take them all and put it in one comprehensive box, I think that would be a dope ass. Again, for fans, you can price what you want. It'd be a limited edition. They scoop that up. I think they would. That'd be tight, man. But yeah, I think that was the main ones I had. The last one I have, and we'll go if you guys got some more, is they should do two things. One, I'm just kind of being snarky. They should do the Business of Prince. The Business of Music, the Prince edition. I don't know if you remember those books back in the day, the Business of Music. For a lot of cats, when they wanted to get into music, those were the books. Somebody said, go get that. We got to read the game. If they had a Business of Music book and it was the Prince edition, you're still talking about masters, ownership, and songwriting and publishing, all that to me, that would be like, this is some shit Prince would do. It's what he spent a lot of his years talking about, like owning your shit and music. I think that would be like I don't know if it'd be a super money maker per se, but in terms of like, this goes with the ideology in my mind, what Prince was about. Yeah, that would be like a no-brainer. Of course, that would be something he probably might want to do that. The other thing I think would be dope if it was a virtual event, since you have COVID, can't necessarily open it up. Again, just going into some of the ideologies that Prince was really pushing, I would have you do a business ownership virtual event or something like that, where you got people who talked about entrepreneurship, starting a business, owning your stuff, your art. Like it could be for creatives. Like, yo, this is how, let's talk about how can you own your work or put your stuff out there. To me, that would be like, again, that would be kind of giving back into the sort of the stuff that he was doing on a personal level to certain artists and things of that nature. And like, yeah, okay, we have this whole building and all these resources, and this man was about ownership. We should be keeping that conversation going. That would be in line with what he was about. Specifically, they could have, I don't care if they got mad or not, they should be we're having a Black business summit. God damn it. You know, and it is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, that would be something I'd be like, yeah, that'd be some Prince. Okay. Now you're talking, you know, so it's not just it's not just we're going to hear from, you know, Monty Moore or, I'm just throwing his names out there, or Jelly Bean, or these musicians who work for him. Yo, let's bring in some business cats. Because a lot of times Prince was pushing, you know, why did he have Slave on his face? Let's talk about that. What was his battle with the record companies? Let's talk about that. And, you know, that may lead to a conversation. Might be asked a question. Well, right, because Prince was about Black ownership. Can we talk about his estate? Event's over. But anyway, I'm saying, like, that would be a cool type of event to do. I would pay to check that out. To all these little virtual events popping off. That's the one I'm waiting for. Like, I'd be like, okay. Yeah, let's talk about this. And what sparked me thinking on this too is there's a cool interview with Dallas Austin. He's talking to Angela Yee. It's on Fox Soul, and he was he talks about how he's a super Prince fan and just meeting Prince, and he was like getting into the conversations that, you know, he talked about when he first met Prince physically. I think it was him and L.A. Reid went to Paisley Park, and he said he saw Prince come walking down, you know, he's just like, yo, this is that cat right here. And he had his cane, you know what I'm saying? I could just imagine Prince was walking down, coming straight at him. And he said Prince held the cane and pointed it right in his face. I can't remember what he said to him, but he said what ended up happening to it after this was Prince took him and L.A. Reid to all these different rooms in Paisley Park, took them to where these clothes are being made so they could see, yo, I got my own clothes. We're working on stuff. Then he took them to the studio. He said they sat there. Prince started working on a song with no other engineer. It was just Prince getting down. I think he said he was recording Bet You by Golly Wow. Bet You by Golly Wow. And then he took them to a different room. And he was like, he was showing all this to us so we could see ownership in business and that you could do it yourself. And I was like, damn, that's some power. I couldn't imagine how powerful that would have been if you were somebody who idolized Prince, which Dallas said he did, and then actually he invites you to his place and he's like putting you up on game, like showing you the possibilities of what this artwork could get you if you own it. So that's why I'm like, yeah, they need to continue that legacy of Prince with the estate. You got Paisley Park. You can have it as a museum, which you do, but also I would bill it the same way Prince was billing it to his personal cats. Let me show you what's possible, Black man. You can do all this is my shit. So to me, I think that would be just as powerful, and that would be pushing the legacy, right? And putting it on for the next person so that you can be aspiring to go on to do your shit. Anyway, that's what I came up with. You guys have any other things you could see this state doing?
Well,
I'm out of ideas.
You guys are gonna laugh.
Go
Women's
ahead.
shoes.
Say it again.
Women's shoes.
Oh man, that would be a no-brainer.
You know, you do the Paisley line and get the heels working. Women will eat that up.
So nigga, I'll buy a pair just to put on the mantle. I wouldn't wear them, but I'm like, yo, these Prince boots.
Slow down there,
nigga.
player. Slow down.
I ain't that crazy. I ain't that far
Man,
gone
why
yet.
not? Why not?
Hey, I mean, you do you. I'm not that far gone yet.
The boots from Side of the Ties, I thought that could be pretty masculine.
Hey, do you?
Go ahead.
Like I said, I ain't mad at you. There's nothing wrong with that now.
Okay, let me be clear on this. I'm not saying it's feminine. I'm saying for somebody my size, that ain't happening.
Good point.
You get that reinforced heel on that. Yeah, I mean, hey, Prince was an all man, but Prince was a rock star, and he didn't have to go to a 9-to-5 job. So
exactly.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He wanted to wear some wild. That's that brother. But for most of us civilians, hey, yeah, I don't know if you got that swag, rock it. You did.
I can't even imagine the most effeminate man rocking those boots to their 9-to-5. Come on, bruh.
Imagine me walking in the court.
I don't know that world.
Imagine me walking in the court rocking the controversy black jacket with the spikes on it.
You'd be like that one brother who got gaffled up in the courtroom.
I emailed that cat too.
Oh, really? Did he hit you back?
Yes, he did actually.
Wow.
Because I wanted to share with him a similar experience that I had like that. And I understand exactly where he was coming from. And let me qualify this based on the story that I read. Now, I don't know if the guy knew these bailiffs or was in that jurisdiction before, but I got a side eye. I was at one jurisdiction. I got a side eye once, like, oh, it's like that. And instead of me, getting nuts, I came back here and talked to my mentor. He's like, no, we're going to handle this a different way. And we handled it.
Okay, so you wasn't talking bad. Because when he went outside, back out in that hallway, you can hear him talking kind of crazy.
Because the thing is, if that's a jurisdiction he didn't practice in before, he's on, foreign turf. And when I was in that situation, I'm like, let me just get out of this county and get back home where people know me. Because nobody knows me up here. So I can't say shit because no one knows who I am. And that's not going to work.
That just reminds me to bring it back to Prince. The song Positivity?
Positivity.
I've been singing that, but I have changed it. I could just see if in light of everything that's going around, I could see Prince doing a newer version of that today. But he would be, instead of saying positivity, he'd be like, white supremacy. And you can't unhear it once you hear have you had your plots out today?
Wow.
White supremacy. I mean, I could see, will they mock your present? Do they mock you? Is that a good man? Huh? Man, please. That'd be a hit with white supremacy. Yes.
Shit.
And then folks be like, why everything got to be about race?
Come on, yeah. Why it's got to be about race? Space marks the place I'm human, or whatever they love pulling that one, boy.
Face the music.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was bad.
Just play Avalanche and get back at me. But anyway, we're talking all over the place. What was the last one? Oh, you said the shoes. Yeah, man. I'm surprised they haven't released a shoe like that. Whether it's you could wear it or it's just a replica of a particular, the sign of the time. Like you said, that would have been a cold, special, limited edition thing to sell in conjunction with the box set. The actual peach boot, and it came on like a plaque or something. Man, I would have been ill.
We can take it a step further. Everybody knows Prince played hoop, and he was good at it. Let me market the shoe he wore. Stick a symbol on it.
See, now you know what you just made me think. That's when I know they really desperate. They have the Prince with the state would hook up with Spalding and sell a Prince hoop. Call it blouses or some shit. That's when I know they low on the dope. It might sell though,
Or he hooked up with Big Baller Brands.
Oh,
you know he's on Cameo.
What's that?
Yes.
What's Cameo? You talking about Larry Blackman?
No, not.
That's what I'm like, ow. Well, he got a song with Larry. What the fuck?
No, not Larry Black.
Okay.
Cameo's like a celebrity-driven thing where they will, give you a personalized greeting via Zoom or something like that.
I remember hearing about that. Okay, that's so somebody is gonna pay LeVar. That would be the. Can you say stay in your lane? Can you? I want to buy this one for Christopher on our Discord. Jokes. I'm just messing with you. Get a personal greeting. Hey, Christopher, stay in your lane. No. That would be hell. They still do it? I didn't know they were still doing that because I remember when it first came out, I was like, man, if I was really a sucker, simp, I could pay, I don't know. Who would I? What's the old girl's name? I'm supposed to know her. This is one of the fantasy chicks. I can't remember her name. She was in Love and Basketball. What's her? Sanaa Lathan. I was like, yeah, if I was a simp, nigga, is Sanaa Lathan on there? I can pay $50 and have her call and say my name, and then I can post that all over the net like she really hollering. Stop it. Work it like a job, Mike. Hilarious. Wow. We can get Selena Powell, maybe. Now I'm really going out there. Anyway, let's get back focused. How about the host gets focused? All right. So, man, there we go. I think those are our Prince things. I'm trying to think, is there any other Prince thing that would make sense? Or that maybe it doesn't even make sense, but they could do.
Oh, hell, the Prince hair care line.
No, there you go. Okay. Kim Berry, you did? Yeah, the Prince hair care line. That would be interesting.
Shoot.
What if they had a Prince? Here we go. A Prince lace front. That would be, he had multiple different hairstyles. You did? Because he had different looks.
Shoot.
But, the Prince lace front. You can get your Prince Halle Berry style, your Typhoon. You get your classic Prince, your 1999 Purple Rain. You can get your Liza Minnelli Raspberry Beret Day Prince wig. Look, you dig? Like, yeah, that would be funny. But you never know. Like I said, they got the robes coming. I'm surprised they don't have drawers or the bikini briefs.
The lingerie line.
Yeah, to get your rude boy kit. with your bikini, your leg warmers, those red shorts. You want to? If you're gonna go deep with it, so we want to get this tax burden off our back. Shit.
Leg warmers.
Selling black sweat. Oh man, you go back to that Fenty thing. Actually, what it would be, it'd be like mascara, but it was the mascara he used to write "slave" on his face. The eyeliner. There you go, the slave eyeliner kit. That would, I don't know how that would.
Wow.
How that would play out. Yeah, we're clowning now. But yeah, man.
I think the eyeliner's a bit much.
Would you say who's this we?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a bit much.
Michael D.
The slave kid. But anyway, yeah, just a few ideas. But I would say the 4K, what was the instruments? Of course, any music, it's a no-brainer. And the basketball hoop. Like that might do a little something. If they can have Funko dolls, you telling me they couldn't have a Spalding basketball hoop? Like tie with Dave Chappelle would be in the commercial or something?
Yeah.
Wait, did they do that in Minnesota? Have purple basketballs at a T-Wolves game?
They maybe they did.
Okay.
Or we're missing the most obvious too. They should pancake mix, man.
Hey, I don't know who make Aunt Jemima. They need a new icon.
Lord. Purple pancakes, like Prince
With the
cake.
Dave Chappelle picture on it.
Yes,
Oh,
that
man.
would be fly. I mean, it could either be a collector or it could be a whole line.
Shit, Master
Well-
P and them got cereals now.
The rap snacks, why not?
Yeah, the Prince pancake mix.
You know what? Has anybody here tried a wrap snack?
Yeah, things
Are
are
they any
good.
good? They're good?
Yes, they got the sour cream ranch ones. I swear by them.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Every time I go to that liquor store, I got them. I go on code and get me 2 bags.
I'll go.
See, there you go. Yeah, Prince pancake mix. That purple
So then going back
pancakes.
to Spalding,
Mhm.
if we're going to go that far with the Prince pancakes, Prince ping pong table.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Have it endorsed by Jimmy Fallon because he whipped his ass on it.
Hilarious.
Like, why you bringing up old shit?
Yeah, I mean, well, how would I say this? Well, they would have a Prince Mackin book or some kind of Prince. It's something like a relationship book, but Prince style. You know, how to talk to women or
Co-written by Tariq Nasheed.
I was also on the side and people get triggered by, but yeah, the art of macking the purple edition, and it would just outline, you know, the Prince associates.
So just roll up on a chick. Give me that.
Yeah,
There, on
this
your
is
boot.
more extreme, overconfident. You have to be very confident. Just demand. Oh man, the art of macking, Prince, insatiable. Anyway. All right, I think we've exhausted that one down. But ladies and gentlemen, we would love to hear what are some of your ideas of Prince-related products. And is it sad that it has come to this? Hey, this is how a lot of this stuff becomes about merchandising and products. And, Prince is a very big piece of our culture, American culture, the world, and he is not here anymore, and his estate is their job is to monetize that and uphold his thing, and they have to make money. So we're going to see stuff like this. You know, it is what it is. He's going to live on forever. Music's going to always live on, though. That's the end of the day. The music is there, but you just look at Prince, man. There was just so much about that guy. He had so much. There was so much details with him. Go ahead.
As much as I think it's cool that Paisley's a museum, if money's an issue, you got to open it back up as an operating studio and draw people in to use it like they do at Abbey Road or Electric Ladyland.
Yeah. Do people even record like that, though? Like as much for it to be a business on, particularly where that place is located? You know,
the bigger ones do, but I think if you do, I think I said this before, too. I think if you do a show from it, like they used to do on, I think it was Bravo, they did live from Abbey Road. If you bring somebody in once a month, have them play there, they call it Live from Paisley or something like that, that would sell. Like Live from Daryl's House is doing great on TV. You do something like that, it'll sell.
Okay.
At least for a couple of seasons, because a lot of people want to have the thrill of playing in there. I'm not saying it will last a long time, but it'll definitely earn for a couple of years.
That would be interesting. I'd be curious about who they got to host it, because obviously Prince is not there. So, yeah, that would be interesting. I could see that though. I could definitely see what you're saying. I'm off topic, not off topic, but just talking about Prince again. I'm trying to remember what I was watching the other night. It was something Prince was on. And I think I'm just in a state where I look at things a little differently now. Is because if I'm getting older, I start looking at stuff like, what did I think about it when I saw it back then versus how I see it now. And I was just looking at Prince and I was just like, man, he was so, he really cared about what people thought about him. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but I'm just saying in terms of like, he just made a point that every time we saw him, he was on point. And And you can see that with certain people, but I was looking at him in the aspect of he was this black dude. He rose up, because you can look at the earlier Prince, and then you kind of see where he becomes this redefined. He's just like this super. You could tell he'd been doing it for so long. He's just so good, and kind of like in his One Night Alone musicology type era. That's when I was looking at it, I was just like, damn. At this point, he's just so ill at what he does. He's a living legend. Like he can do his own tropes of Prince, but then he can just do music, and it's like he's at another level at it. And it's interesting to look at him. I was like, God, just his charisma on stage is effortless. And you could look back at older Prince, and I was like looking at the same time, I was like, it's not that he's trying too hard, but he was just so young, and like he was just so unpredictable moving around. Like if you really stop and look at it, it was like herky jerky. And I was like, man, this guy was in his thing. But when I look at them later concerts, I'm like, man, he's just like every move he makes, it's so precise. And you can tell he's been in front of the mirror so much, and he's watched so many performances of his own, that every one of his moves is so graceful, and just like he can't not be the shit, because he just had the experience, which a younger person is not gonna. The younger Prince didn't have that, because he just had that energy. But I think the years of him watching himself, you see what it evolved to, and I was just like, God, look at that dude, man. Like he's like the persona of the shit. Like it's like almost like a feeling you get when you watch him. It's like you don't even have to be like buying his albums and stuff. But if somebody say, yo, there's gonna be a Prince show, you know, just by seeing little performances that this dude is gonna be performing at such a high level, it's exciting to watch, because you don't get to see that level of performance from people very often, because he's been in doing it so long. And I was looking at that, and I was just like, man, he always presented himself as the shit. You never got to see him weak. And the older sort of reflecting guy I was looking at, I was like, he carried that on to his death. Like he literally did not want you to see him weak, even in the face of him having issues, obviously, that we didn't know. He would rather not show that and put a strong face forward, for better or for worse, right? Like, the ODN and get in front of the crowd, so don't worry about me. And then you're out riding bikes and stuff. Obviously, he must have been going through serious issues, because, he takes these bad drugs or whatever. He was in pain and stuff, but he never showed that to us. I just thought that was very fascinating to me. I was like, man, he was so, I'm not going to say addicted is the word, but he was so about his presentation, to the point where almost like he was almost dishonest, because he just wanted to, it was just being so proud, or being like, I'm never going to show you, you're never going to see me weak. Even when I'm dealing with life and death struggles, I'm going to still put a face of strength in front of you. And I just thought I was like, I hope somebody talks about that at some point, because that's a very interesting sort of dynamic. And almost like, man, he almost rather die than show you like he's going through some shit. You know what I mean? Like he was obviously going through it. But it was so, you could say it was being so personal, but almost like, man, like I hope other entertainers or just regular people never do that, because obviously if your friend is suffering through something, but they felt like they the main, they that dude all the time, and they'll never show you they need some help, you can see a kind of example like, man, that's not really the way to go, because we here to help you. Like, we don't want you to, you know what I mean? It was just something I might be bugging out as I'm talking, but I was just watching. I was just thinking, I was like, man, Prince, he was so, and I'm, I equate it to, there's a lot of brothers out here that are so prideful and always suited and booted, or, oh, you always had the fresh kicks, or your haircuts was always tight, or you was, you had the best car, or whatever it was. But then you don't realize, man, he got a lot of health issues. He never said nothing, or he broke, but he presented like he balled. You know what I mean? We put up all these sort of things in front, and it don't really show what's really popping when you might need some help. And I was like, man, he kind of fell into that. Like, he was so much about being this prince, but it's like, man, there was a whole other side of him that we didn't get to see. And obviously it was a side of him in pain that we just didn't know because he didn't want to show that. I was thinking of Chadwick Boseman. It was kind of, it was like, damn, like, would it have changed the dynamics if we would have known Chadwick was, or if he had admitted that he was sick, but he was decided, I'm going to show you strength.
But people close to Chadwick did know. That's the thing.
Well, there must be some people that were close to Prince, obviously, that knew too, right? And giving him his peace.
I don't know, man. I don't know because...
Well, I mean, in a sense of they know he had an OD and they had to bring him back to life. People close to him know he died, right? He came back to life. So that's what I'm saying. There's people, you're right. There's people that knew, but they fall in line the way he say. So they have to keep that a secret. But I'm saying they keep it in secret because that's what he wants it to be. Like Chadwick, that was his choice to say, I don't want them to know that. We would have to respect that. But one side of me, I was like, well, hopefully his family knew, or again, and I'm speaking in perspective, these two gentlemen I'm talking about did not have children. So it was a little different, I would imagine if they had kids, you'd have to tell them, hey, make sure we say goodbyes and I love you, because I may not be here. I'm out here working it like a job, right? In lieu of my health, or maybe in Chadwick's situation, there wasn't nothing they could do. In Prince's situation, he obviously was trying to get help. It's just too little, too late, unfortunately. But I don't know, just a conversation. I'm rambling onto it, but I was just looking. Sometimes I look at his stuff, and that's why I'm like I'm at that state of my life. I'm like, God, man, this dude was incredible. My God. And it's like, dang, he still should have been here, but I get it. I understand. We can learn something from looking at these people, because there was a reason he made a choice to be the way he was. I think that's something to look into. Why did he always make a choice to be seen in just a very particular way? Even just like putting makeup on. It was one thing to say, yeah, he's probably influenced by Little Richards and stuff. These are things he saw when he was a kid and they were big. And so he had, is influenced by doing it. And maybe you're wearing the makeup on stage, but then it's like, you're not on stage 24 hours a day, but you still got that sort of mask up, that presentation. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's an interesting thing to me. So, anyway.
That's deep. I ain't gonna lie. That should be you should do a crossover with Muse to the Pharaoh. That's how deep that was.
Okay. Salute to Darling Niecy. All right. We're gonna get up out of here. But before we do, if you haven't already, please join our Patreon page. Help support the show. Get the shows first. There's some exclusive stuff over there. So definitely check us out on our Patreon page. Just go to podcastjuice.com. Just go to podcastjuice.net. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the Patreon is patreon.com/podcastjuice. You'll find it. I'll put the links in here. And Pooh, where can they find you online?
Find me at Twitter and Instagram at Ampoo, and on Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah. All right. And Big Sexy and Sack, where can they find you, sir?
The usual haunts. Twitter, WSE Mark. Instagram, Mark Wiggins 2. And Facebook, Mark Wiggins.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.